She's a retired professional wrestler, best known for her time in WWE under the name of AJ Lee. I'm so delighted that we get to share AJ with you tonight. AJ.
All right. Do you think crazy is a bad word? I used to fear the word crazy falling from my mouth the same way I would fear dropping a hard F-bomb in front of a classroom full of kids. I used to fear being called it, but more so, I would fear being labeled it for life.
I think there is a cultural element to the denial and the tough attitude that my Puerto Rican family took when it came to mental health issues. I think that's something that's instilled in our culture, in our community. We are a community that is expected to work twice as hard to be seen as equal. And we have to speak up and set a good example and be these kind of perfect versions of ourselves for people to not look down on us.
Before I even got my first period, I would have my first panic attack. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was shaking, I was sobbing, I was terrified. My mother, who was sleeping right next to me, woke up and she opened her groggy eyes and she looked over at me and she asked, "What the hell is your problem?" And I didn't know what to say. I couldn't find words. And so I just sobbed and laid there. And she shuffled over to me and she started stroking my hair and she said, "Stop acting crazy." I pretended I was okay, and I went back to sleep. I didn't want anyone to think I wasn't strong enough to be sane.
I remember specifically my family mentioning that therapy and, treatment for depression, all this stuff were white people problems. We suffer every day. Like we were extremely poor and we were discriminated against and we were sort of starting this race, an hour late. And so to complain about something that wasn't physical, to complain about something that you couldn't see seemed like a problem that people would create when they didn't have anything else to complain about. Of course, that's not true, which we found out the hard way. But for so long, we were this family that thought you create your own destiny, you can tough it out, you can just get over stuff if you're feeling sad.
6 months into my first year at NYU, my mother would end up in a psychiatric hospital. After hiding her own depressive symptoms for years, she would eventually learn the hard way that she was living with undiagnosed and untreated bipolar disorder. And then one day, I woke up in the hospital too. At the age of 19, I had overdosed. In a haze of overwhelming pain and confusion, I had taken an almost lethal amount of pills. I had tried and failed to take my own life. Lying in a hospital bed with thick black track marks running down my arms from all the IVs poking and prodding my veins, that was the lowest point of my life. But I survived. And in surviving, I was forced to make a choice. Would I go on pretending, or would I face my truth?
I remember when I first got my diagnosis, and I thought that my life was over. I thought that having a professional tell me that I had bipolar disorder meant that I was going to be limited in some way. And then I looked back at my life and I realized that it was sort of my saving grace the whole time. I always say I've been given the gift of extraordinary emotions. It's not this affliction. It is such a gift for me. It's made me extremely passionate and dive into life head first. And I have this iron will and sort of this belief in the impossible because I have bipolar disorder. It has made me see the world in more vibrant, more beautiful colors. And if I didn't have it, I don't know if I would be here today. I just think I would have been sort of lost. It gave me direction. It really made me think that I could be a superhero. I wrote a book called Crazy is My Superpower. And when I was about to put this book out into the world, I was kind of terrified. I did not know how I would be received. I had spent so long playing this, kind of tough character that to be so vulnerable was scary. But I should have known better because my fan base supported me for so long because I was different. I was someone who had these things that were traditional flaws, but I embraced them and I was proud of them. I was proud to be scrawny and to not look like the supermodels, and I was proud to wear cheap clothes and sneakers, and I embraced these things that other people sort of made fun of me for. And so when I came out with this book and I was exposing something, I was so scared. I thought people might kind of point a finger and reject me. Just to see how people embraced me, and they continued to just say, oh, this is another thing that we accept you for, and that we're going to celebrate this difference because we understand it, because so many of my fans have dealt with these issues. They also have had anxiety or depression. And that was kind of amazing. It was my goal to let people know that I didn't just have a mental health disorder and I got through it. I credit my bipolar disorder for everything I was able to accomplish. I didn't find success in spite of it. I found it because of it. And that was my message, and I think people got that, and that was really exciting. I would tell any Hispanic family that it takes so much more strength. It is so much braver to ask for help, to talk to each other about what you're experiencing. We really ignored these feelings that were dangerous, and we had to wait until we hit absolute rock bottom to kind of wake up and snap out of that and realize that machismo is not worth it. We don't have to be tougher. We don't have to be quiet. Strength does not have to be synonymous with silence. Because having a tougher life, being discriminated against, kind of starting, a few feet behind in a race, it has an effect on you. It takes its toll. And the more we can reach out and get help, the better we will be for that.